Is Hopper's grumpiness a total improv from David Harbour? Was Eleven's ego theft completely spontaneous? And how did Dacre Montgomery almost bust his head open? Hi, I'm Clive, and you're watching Awesome Movies. Jim Hopper was never going to win any Friendly Dude of the Year awards. Sure, the lovable lawman has a good heart beneath his cranky crust, but he isn't afraid to give someone a knuckle sandwich if they're acting like a rapscallion. Basically, Hopper is the type of fella you want on your side in a bar brawl, and in a funfair fight. Every TV show needs a loose cannon, but the original version of Hopper wasn't the chain-smoking, punching enthusiast that we all know and love today. When David Harbour came aboard, he decided to turn Hopper into Hawkins' resident sourpuss because he imagined the character as more of a broken badass. In fact, his method acting procedure got so intense that he locked himself up in an apartment and smoked cigarettes for days at a time. I hope he brushed his teeth afterwards. And if that's not Hopper-ish enough, Harbour intentionally distanced himself from the kid actors in the beginning because he wanted them to think he was an intimidating weirdo. But much like Hopper himself, he eventually dropped his guard and became a lovable mentor to the little rascals. And to think that Harbour wasn't even the most intimidating actor on the set. More on that later, though. Stranger Things is full of entertaining scenes in which Hopper stinks out the joint like the cranky old fart he is. Some of those scenes were also enhanced by Harbour bringing his own ideas to the table, like the time Hopper gave Jonathan some advice in an effort to toughen the little scrub up. Boy, that Hopper certainly has a chip on his shoulder, eh? Check out what Harbour had to say on the matter.
Man up, and that was it was supposed to be like a sweet scene. It was supposed to be like a sweet kind of
So sweet.
And I sort of envisioned this guy as being, exactly. I envisioned this guy as being a bit more like, darker than that, so.
Now, if you think David Harbour wanted to bring some edge to his character, wait until you hear about that time Millie Bobby Brown decided to put all of her eggs in the one basket. Or should I say egos? The future star of Godzilla vs. Kong didn't like playing the shy and quiet type in season 1, so she took matters into her own hands and created an iconic moment in the process. Millie was only supposed to take 1 or 2 boxes of Eggos from the freezer, but she decided to take the whole lot instead. But she was tired of playing Mrs. Nice Girl and wanted everyone to know that 11 shouldn't be messed with. If you're gonna commit a crime on the screen, you might as well make it count. And the best part? Millie's antics were so convincing that some of the extras got freaked out and thought they were witnessing a real robbery in progress. Therefore, the shocked looks that appear on their faces as Elle leaves the store with the goods were genuine. You just can't write that kind of authenticity. Excellent work, Millie.
And it was really fun to film as well because there's a ton of extras that don't know anything about the show. And I was just like, she's weird.
That wasn't Millie's only unscripted moment that lent itself to some powerful storytelling either. But let's talk about the Mullet Man for a second. Remember the season 3 episode in which 11 and a possessed Billy battled it out in a sauna? Of course you do. Billy's rampage was one for the ages. Terrifying, in fact. And to think we all used to laugh at mullets. Anywho, that scene was full of unscripted magic from everyone involved, even though it did get a little out of hand. In an interview with Vulture, Dacre Montgomery recalled being so in character while he hunted his prey that he actually headbutted a window, causing the glass to smash and the young actors to freak out. Naturally, the Duffers left it in because that's just insanely good television. Who could forget that visual of Billy growling like he was auditioning for some 80s hair metal band? Speaking of memorable moments, let's talk about 11 collapsing into Mike's arms due to sheer exhaustion. Well, it turns out that Millie was so tired that she couldn't stand up as they'd been shooting for over 40 hours. Who said that being a child actor was easy? According to Sean Levy, everyone was exhausted after spending so many hours trying to capture a variety of different angles for the scene. Luckily for the show's creators, the cameras were still focused on Millie Bobby Brown when her body couldn't physically stand up any longer. In the end, it turned out to be one of the most emotional moments in the show, proving that Mike and 11 were made for each other. Fortunately, not every spontaneous couple moment in Stranger Things was the product of exhaustion. Some of them were down to good old-fashioned immaturity and puerile humor, from the adults no less. Getting jiggy with it is awkward at the best of times, but it's even worse when you have to do it on some conspiracy theorist couch. Jonathan and Nancy can relate to that experience. Remember when they hooked up in season 2 of Stranger Things? That was a great moment. Jonathan is a nice guy, and Nancy's love life was a mess beforehand. And while the night of passion certainly lit a spark in the horn dogs, they felt a little bit weird about the situation the next morning. That's because they had to spend it with a disgraced journalist, Murray, who was full of innuendos at the breakfast table.
Jonathan, how was the pullout?
Sorry?
The sofa.
Oh yeah.
Hilarious stuff, right? Well, did you know that actor Brett Gelman came up with the pull-out line all by himself? In the Netflix documentary series Beyond Stranger Things, the cast recalled how Gelman was in a goofy mood and prone to accidents on the set that day.
You could tell her. You could see Natalia's.
That
I thought it was.
entire scene.
Unsurprisingly, his colleagues could barely hold it together. But they deserve all of the credit for remaining somewhat professional throughout the immature ordeal. In addition to coming up with the hilarious line, Gelman also dropped the eggs. But the show's creators know comedy gold when they see it playing out in front of them, so they kept the camera rolling and let the magic happen. Of course, when it was all said and done, everyone erupted into fits of laughter.
Oops.
The creators of Stranger Things are a bunch of miscreants in their own right, though, and they get a kick out of messing with their colleagues. Caleb McLaughlin and Sadie Sink know that all too well. In fact, Max and Lucas's first kiss at the snowball dance was the product of an on-set joke courtesy of one of those Duffer Bros. When you watch that scene, you'd swear that everything was by design and that the smooching was planned. Everyone was dressed to the nine. A police song about an obsessive stalker played in the background. That's real romance. That being said, Caleb and Sadie didn't sign up for any lip locking, nor did the actors have any previous kissing experience before the show. So you can understand why they were a little bit nervous after being tricked into smooching by Ross Duffer.
The kiss? I'm like, what? Nope, no, that's not in the script. That's not happening.
Ross insisted that he was only teasing the young stars, but Sadie and Caleb were so stressed out that they decided to go ahead with it. In front of their parents, no less. Awkward. Their gesture was appreciated by the Duffers, however, as it made for one of the show's most heartwarming moments.
Anyways, it's great. I can't imagine without it. Thank you.
Well,
While the kiss certainly gave the characters a defining moment and gave the teen actors some more life experience, the scene caused some controversy among fans and critics. Some of them believe that Ross pressured Sadie into kissing Caleb against her will, which sparked some thought-provoking conversations about physical scenes involving young performers. However, Sadie was quick to shut down accusations of her being pressured into doing anything she wasn't up for. Here's what she told the Wrap afterwards. I never objected to it or felt pushed into anything. I always felt comfortable, and the Duffer Brothers, they do the best job and always create a comfortable space. And if I felt uncomfortable with anything, I wouldn't have done it. Speaking of young love, Mike and Eleven have had their ups and downs throughout the years.
I dump your ass.
Mike acted like a jerk and told some fibs, but he made up for it by pouring his heart out in a supermarket.
And it's like, I wanted you all to myself. And now I realize how unfair that is, and selfish, and like, I'm sorry.
That adorable awkwardness is classic Mike, and no one knows that character better than Finn Wolfhard. So much so that the Duffers let him come up with his own soul-bearing words for the scene, and he didn't disappoint. How can you stay mad at him after that? If you'd like to find out more secrets about Stranger Things, be sure to check our video essay, and be sure to let us know your favorite unscripted moments in the comments.